So, boys and girls, I hope you're doing well on this on Wednesday today. Good morning. Welcome to our purple community. Okay, and I know it's a bit wet and grizzly outside, so I hope you still manage to get some exercise outside at some point today. Okay, now we have a very special guest today who's kindly agreed to come and talk to us and answer some questions. And wow, we've been so impressed with the number of questions, Miss Dukes and I and everything. So we've been really, really pleased. So we will have other people joining, but I'm going to say good morning and welcome to Mr. Eddie Jones, who is the head coach of England rugby team. Okay, so good morning, Eddie. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, nice to see all the kids there. I see one Welsh Sloppy Joe from Jack, so it's good to see we've got some Welsh supporters there. But it's a pleasure to be here this morning, mate.
Okay, thank you so much, Eddie. I think I said that when we talked about it to be prepared for some Welsh, maybe Irish and Scottish shirts and everything. We knew that anyone that is a Welsh supporter would be having the Welsh kit on today and stuff. So, so cool. So we've got a few questions for you. So we're going to run through as many as we can. Thank you so much, boys and girls. Some of them we've grouped together and everything. So the first one was just a simple one. What was your favourite subject when you went to high school?
Well, I love school. I like being a pupil. We could play sport. You're with your mates, and I know at this time it's a difficult time for all the kids. So hang in there. But I love geography. I loved learning particularly about economic geography, and went on and studied at university. Unfortunately, I don't get to teach it anymore.
Okay, well, because you're also a principal, weren't you? You're a principal of a school and everything. So I guess the question for us is, how did you keep everyone positive and motivated when you were a principal of a school?
Yeah, well, it's the hardest job I've ever done. Being a principal of the school was much harder than being the head coach of England, because you're trying to keep everyone happy and engaged, and it's a big family to keep happy. You can see all the faces out there now. You're always going to have people who are a little bit unhappy, but I think you've always got to have a goal of where you're going, where do you want to go, and then how do you want to do it, and how do you want to behave to get there, and keep reinforcing the messages, positive messages all the time.
Oh, that's great. So if we could talk about your rugby career, what position did you play? And, who was the best team you felt you played for?
Yeah, I wasn't a great player. I wasn't good enough to play for Australia. I played a little bit for New South Wales. I was a hooker, very small, not very fast. Could probably talk better than I could play. But the best team I played for was my club, Randwick, which we were a team that ran the ball from everywhere, didn't kick the ball at all.
Okay. Oh, that's great and everything. So obviously, you've been in international management, and you're a manager of Japan. You see, and you spend a lot of time in Japan. I believe you still go back there to help coach there and everything. What was the best thing about living and working in Japan?
The best thing about rugby, and it shows you what an opportunity you get to live in different countries and experience different cultures. And that's the opportunity sports can sometimes give you. The big thing I enjoyed about Japan was that it's just completely different from Western culture. They don't think the same, they don't behave the same. And so you've got to adapt to the new circumstances. And I think, as we're all finding now, adaptation's such an important part of your life, adapting to what's going on, making the best of what you can.
Oh, cool. Because I think some of the children will know, particularly the ones that are South African, will remember the Japan against South Africa in the 2015 World Cup finals and that result. So what was the biggest tactic you used there? You talked about not kicking, because obviously you come up against South Africa. They're an awesome team.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing for kids to learn. It doesn't matter what size you are, how fast you can run. There's always a way to be competitive, and we were a small team, and we tried to play fast. We tried to move the ball around quickly. We tried to make South Africa play a way they didn't like to play.
Oh, cool. And so then obviously you took over as England manager and went on quite a hot streak of winning the whole time and everything. And and obviously the Six Nations is something that we all love and we're really looking forward to in a few weeks and everything. What's it like to manage in the Six Nations? And I guess my other question with that someone asked is, what's your favourite ground to go to other than Twickenham in the Six Nations?
Well, the great thing about the Six Nations is that you've got all these countries that are neighbours to each other, and within families you've got Welsh supporters, you've got English supporters. So the tradition of the contest creates this intensity that I've never seen before. And the great thing about rugby is that people can go to the ground as opponent supporters and still get on with each other and still watch a great game of rugby. The ground I enjoy the least and enjoy the most is the Millennium Stadium. So I think it's called the Principality Stadium now, the Welsh home ground, because it's such an intense environment. You know, the people there are sitting on top of the players, and the noise is the loudest I've ever heard.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think actually, I think I was at the last game that might have been at the Principality, and we were in a very happy position until the second half, and then things didn't go as planned and everything. So, out of all the rugby, out of all like your England rugby highlights, what would you say is your most memorable moment?
Well, I think it's to come. Yeah, we still haven't played as well as we can as a team, and that's a great thing. Yeah, we've played some good games. We played the semi-final against New Zealand in the World Cup. Was a good game of rugby, but you know, we still haven't played as well as we can, and that's the most exciting thing.
Oh, cool. That's great. If we talk just briefly, you know, you mentioned the game against the All Blacks in the semi-final. What's it like going up as a coach against the All Blacks?
It's a game I enjoy the most. You know, you always want to beat the best in the world, and they've been the best in the world. And so you get a chance to benchmark yourself where you're up to, and it's a bit like, you know, kids learning a new sport. You know, how far can you push yourself to be as good a player as you can be?
Oh, cool. That's great. Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot with regards to picking like England, an England player as such, but outside of the current England club, who's the best player that you've worked at internationally? Because you work for Australia, Japan, South Africa. Who would you pick out?
Yeah, and I work with a lot. I've been lucky to work with a lot of good players. Probably the best player I've worked with is Fourie du Preez, who's a South African halfback. He played the game 2 rucks ahead of everyone else. He saw the game before everyone else. And he was a small, unimpressive body, looked like a footballer rather than a rugby player, but had a really sharp brain.
Okay, cool. Who's the biggest rugby player you've met? I'm just thinking size-wise.
Well, those kids who support Saracens, maybe a few of them do. Will Skelton, he's a mammoth of a man. You know, he's lucky to get through the door. He's that big. I think he's 6'7" and weighs about 135 kgs.
Okay, cool. Because we had one question from someone that said, you know, if I want to be a forward, what do I need to do? You know, they're worried about their height. You know, what would you say if you need to be a forward? What do you need to do?
Well, you need to be hardworking. You need to work harder than any other player on the field. And you need to have a level of physical toughness. You also need to be very strong in your head, that you're prepared to do hard work all the time.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Now, one of the questions that we had that came in was, you know, as you're Australian, but you're the England rugby coach, you know, who do you want to win when they play each other at rugby?
Oh, definitely England. I think, you know, playing Australia, we're leading them 7-0. So all of those wins have been very happy occasions, but you just got to keep getting better all the time, because we know they're going to improve over the next 3 or 4 years. So we've got to make sure we keep improving.
Okay, cool. And just interestingly, the other follow up to that is, what if it was cricket? You know, it wasn't rugby. Who would you support in cricket?
Well, I love cricket. I know a few of the English players now, and certainly I've got a softer spot for England than I did before.
Okay. Okay. So we got just a couple of questions about the England team. You know, who would be the quickest in training? You know,
Johnny May. Like, he's that quick. He can turn the light off and be in bed before the light goes off. He's so quick.
And who would be like the most hardworking? You know, just like, or the one that gives you the most on the pitch. You know, just all the time. Because, and I think I had a conversation with some lads yesterday that were here, and we were talking about how hard, like someone like Itoje works, but also then you know the Vunipola brothers and everything. So who's like that hard working person?
Yeah, the two hardest working are Maro Itoje and Tom Curry. You know, they've both got incredible appetites for work, want to be the best player in the world, and keep working at their game.
Okay, that's great. And just one question we ask is, you will still be manager when we get to the next World Cup finals, yeah?
Well, you never know. You only coach till the next game, but that's the plan.
Okay, cool. And what do you expect from the Six Nations this year? How do you think we're going to do?
Yeah, no, it's going to be like it always is, a tough competition. Wales have got a new coach and are starting to find their feet a little bit. Scotland's improved since the last World Cup. Ireland again's got a new coach and probably played a little bit better towards the end of autumn. France are probably at the peak at the moment. They've got a lot of good young players, so we're looking forward to the tournament, and we're going to have to be at our best to win it.
Okay, cool. So one of the things that we you know, all the children that whether they're in school or at home, you know, grassroots sports, you know, whether it's football or rugby, obviously we can't do that at the moment. So what advice would you give to all the children with regards to trying to keep healthy and fit?
Yeah, well, I think it's an important time for kids to keep fit. Yeah, it's obviously a difficult time. Some of your parents are probably working for an NHS and doing such a great job for the country. So it's your responsibility to keep yourself fit, still study hard. You know, regular exercise every second day should be a target for everyone out there.
Okay, that's great. Well, that's great to know. And with regards to, you know, as a former teacher and everything, have you got a message for our teachers at all? Because of, you know, just currently it's difficult for them. What would you say to them?
Yeah, well, you've just got to put on a brave face every morning, and see how many kids' eyes you can light up each day. Be the most enthusiastic person either on Zoom or in the classroom, and keep looking to see how many kids you can really improve during the day, because you're doing the most important job I think there is in the world, teaching. And you give these kids a great opportunity to be at their best. So remember how important your job is. Be enthusiastic, and enjoy every minute of it. I know sometimes it's difficult, particularly when the principal's giving you a hard time about not called correctly or something like that. So keep being positive, keep being engaged, light the kids' eyes up.
Oh, cool. That's great. Thank you. So we've got a few, before we come to like Miss Duke's questions, we've got a few other questions. So we've got one here. Would you rather wrestle a koala or box a kangaroo?
No, I'd rather box a kangaroo. Koalas are very smelly.
Okay. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
I'd want to be like Batman. I used to love Batman. I'd love to fight crime, go around the city and fight crime all the time.
Cool. Another one for me before we come to Miss Dukes. If you could be good at any other sport, what would it be?
Cricket.
Cricket.
I'd love to be opening batsman.
Opening batsman for England, yeah?
That'd be great.
So what I've got is I've got a few little sillier questions. We know, we expect that from me. So Mr. Harris has done his rugby journalism, and I'm going to go with some of the funny questions that you sent in. So what we're going to do, if it's okay, Eddie, I'm going to give you two options, and I'd like you just to tell me which one you would choose. So Marmite or Vegemite?
Definitely Vegemite.
I think we might go for Marmite over with the rest of us, but I love that answer. Thank you. Next one, tea or coffee?
Definitely black coffee.
Black coffee, nice and strong to wake you up. Thank you. Okay, red sauce or brown sauce?
Definitely red sauce.
I would agree with that. That is my choice as well. Okay, I know you're a sportsman, so you might say, no, I very healthily. However, I'm going to test it. Chocolate or chips?
I used to, when I was a kid, I used to love chips, ate too much, so I'd have to say chocolate now.
Very good choice. Okay, this is a pronunciation one. Do you say scone or scone?
I'm an Aussie, so I'm just lucky to say the word scone.
Brilliant, love it. Okay, little insight here into what you do in your spare time. Would you go for singing or dancing?
Well, I'm not good at either, but if I had to, be singing.
Brilliant, love that. This one, I think I might know your answer already from something you said earlier. We were going to ask you Superman or Batman.
Definitely Batman.
Really good choice, love it. Okay, would you rather have super big hands or super big feet?
Super big hands.
Lovely. Final two, cats or dogs?
Definitely dogs. I'm not a cat person. I saw a few dogs in the assembly this morning. They're looking very healthy.
Love that.
Lucy's got one, I think. Is it Lucy?
Absolutely brilliant. Shout out to Lucy and her dog there. Love that. I'm cats myself. I know it brings out strong opinions in people. And final one, swimming pool or sea?
Definitely the sea. Love being in the uncertainty of the sea. And while swimming pools are great, there's nothing like the sea.
Love that. Love the idea of the uncertainty. Thank you. That was the end. You passed your quick fire quiz. Bye-bye.
Well done. Well done.
Thanks, Jukes. Thanks, Eddie. Okay, so we're nearly at the end, guys. So Eddie, I didn't know if you wanted to just quickly give a random shout out to a couple of kids that are on the call. Obviously they come back, but you can see some of their names. So I didn't know if you wanted to randomly, you picked out some dogs and things like that, or you just want to wave to all of them. Just a couple of minutes, or just a minute or so if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, kids, thanks for listening. I know, as I said before, some of your parents are working for the NHS, so they're doing a great job. So you've got to try to support them as much as you can. Maybe not seeing them as much as you'd like to, but try to do the right thing by your parents and keep supporting them, because everyone needs to be in this together at the moment. It's a tough period for you guys. It's a tough period for your parents. So hang in there, be good at school, be good at home, and make the most of it. And if you're a Welsh supporter, I've got some bad news for you during the Six Nations. But Jack, it's good to see you with that Sloppy Joe on, and Lucy, that's a beautiful boxer. It's a boxer, is it? Beautiful dog you got. So look after yourself, guys, and thanks for joining in.
Cool. Thank you so much, Eddie. And guys, just say massive thanks. I know you can either clap your hands or put your thumbs up and everything. Massive thanks to Eddie Jones, manager of the England rugby team. Thank you so much for your time, Eddie. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.